I'm right, Brennan. This is the Lost in the Midlands podcast, and today I'm fired up to be here with Mr. Brent Munnerlyn. He's an entrepreneur. He's a pharmacist, optician, pyrotechnician, and he's running for county council. And I'm fired up to have you here, man.
Man, I'm fired up to be here, and I've got some really exciting things we're going to share today that the citizens in this county, they have got to know. They got to know before Tuesday because there's so much happening that they don't know about.
Well, I look forward to hearing about this as a citizen of the county, so I'm fired up to hear about this information. All right, before we talk about that, I do want to hear a little bit about your background. You've done a lot of stuff. I mean, my gosh, your rap sheet here, you're not just, politics, entrepreneur stuff. You're from the area, or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
awesome.
I started out. I went to Lexington Elementary School.
Cool. Okay.
And then when we had an intermediate school, I went there, middle school, high school. So for those in the county, you're like, is this guy an outsider? No, I'm an outsider, right? So I'm from here.
Yeah.
When I graduated Lexington High School in 1998, I went to the University of South Carolina.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I started out in engineering and then moved over to pharmacy.
Cool.
And then graduated there in 2004. With my doctorate of pharmacy, and was valedictorian of that class too. I mean, I was fortunate. I could always learn things well. So, yeah, that's my background, and at least my educational background. And then after that, I had an opportunity to jump into serving the residents here in Lexington County. And I've always served the residents here in Lexington County in one way, shape, or form as a pharmacist.
Yeah.
Initially, it was a retail pharmacy, and then after that, I managed the health and wellness business for Walmart here in Central South Carolina.
Wow.
Big Responsibility.
Yeah.
That was a big one. But again, it was serving the residents here in Lexington County and the other counties in Central South Carolina as well. Now I own an independent pharmacy here in town and service our actually in District 3 where I'm running. And service our citizens here in Lexington County like I always have.
So you have a real passion to help, and it sounds like just a lead. I mean, being the head of Walmart's huge division, starting your own escapade. Was it from the early days? Did you kind of know, you want to carry that flag, that torch?
No, I didn't actually. So no, it just kind of happens over time, I mean, that's not at all how it worked out.
Fell into
No. Well, you get out of pharmacy school, you start practicing, and you my personality is I can't get stuck in four walls.
Yeah.
I can't do that, right? So I quickly learned that, I'm passionate about helping others. I'm passionate about healthcare, but I can't get stuck, in that behind the four walls routine. So, that gave me the opportunity. I actually had a couple different opportunities that led to being the health and wellness director for Walmart. And, and when I got in the role, I led the people here. And I'll tell you, if anybody wants to stop by a Walmart pharmacy and just do a little background check, y'all are welcome to do that. Just stop by, talk to anybody at a Walmart pharmacy and just ask them questions about me. If you want to know about my integrity, just anywhere, just go by, and anybody that knows me will speak highly of me, I'm sure, because I took care of the people. We did. We delivered exceptional results, and we did it. We did it with kindness, integrity, and I'm very proud of my 10 years in that role as director.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 10 years doing that. So
fantastic. Okay, so today we're facing some challenges in politically in the county. So explain to me kind of what are we looking at? Like what are the challenges that the citizens have?
Well, I think before we get to that question, I need to back it up just a little bit, right? Because in order to get to that, everybody needs to understand what was my catalyst for actually getting into the election, right? And I've been really clear about this, right? And I've taken some criticism for this because everyone says that I'm self-serving. In fact, the state newspaper came out and said, well, we're not going to endorse Brent Munnerlyn because he's self-serving, and we just can't get behind that. But what they're not realizing, they are not taking the time to read everything that I put out on this, is that my catalyst for running was I won't say it's a business decision, but it was an impact to my business that resulted in me looking and seeing what's going on county council. So so I am a pharmacist, but one of the other things I do is I shoot all those fireworks shows everybody loves. So I own Munnerlyn Pyrotechnics, which we started years ago, and man, that has been one heck of a journey because we shoot almost all the shows in the state of South Carolina now. So if you go down and you go to Charleston, River Dodge, City of Charleston, Foley, Fripp, but the more important thing is we shoot all the shows around the Midlands. So like Lake Murray, Town of Lexington, Peach Festival, Fort Jackson, Shaw, Sumter. I mean, all of them, right? And I'll tell you, Bill Shanahan with the Blowfish got me started in it.
Yeah.
I was always in the firework business, but more on the retail side. And then Bill got me into shooting. I learned from some great people how to really do amazing shows, and the business just grew and grew and grew. So whenever the Lexington County Council decided to pass a firework ordinance, I was involved because I'm also the vice president of the South Carolina Fireworks Association. And we take responsible use of fireworks very seriously.
Yeah.
And so we were involved in that. And, whenever they were trying to pass the ordinance, we said, and we were very clear about this. In fact, publicly I said, if you pass that ordinance, you're going to disadvantage certain ethnicities and cultural groups.
Yeah.
Because what happens with fireworks is that typically as an American, you celebrate on New Year's Eve and July 4th, right?
That's right.
Right. But there are other cultures that celebrate with fireworks during different times of the year. Yeah. Like Chinese descent, they actually celebrate New Year's in January, February, right? It's a different time frame, right? Yeah. And then you've got Diwali, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that because I do think that I am, but people of Indian descent celebrate Diwali, and that doesn't fall within the time frames in which we created this ordinance around. And then
interesting.
You also have African Americans now celebrate Juneteenth, and that's becoming really popular with fireworks. So what's happening is that you can shoot up to midnight on July 4th and New Year's Eve.
Okay.
The rest of the time, you have to shoot before 9 p.m., which we were given two options by county council. We had one option of taking 4 days a year. We had one option of taking 2 extended days with all days being to 9 p.m. And there was no more negotiation after that. So we, of course, took the 9 p.m. and we settled with that. But we did make it very clear that was going to disadvantage groups. And that is what's happening. Yeah. And that was my catalyst for running because I'm like, man, that's just wrong because we explained to county council how they're going to be disadvantaging other ethnicities.
Yeah.
And they're not listening.
Right.
So that was the reason I ran because county council just didn't listen. And I'm like, that's so important because we had really good solutions in place, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't want to listen to any of them. And let me back up one more second. So 9 p.m. still may sound reasonable for some, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't even get dark until after 9 p.m. in the summertime.
Yeah.
Right? Fireworks, you don't shoot fireworks in the
Can't
daytime.
see them.
Right. So we are clearly disadvantaging certain groups.
Yeah.
Right. We needed something more reasonable, right? We had proposed 10 p.m. and that would have been more reasonable, right? With some exception for cultural holidays that a person could prove, right? So again, just having good ordinances in place that address the needs of all of our citizens, right, was my catalyst. Now, again, as I mentioned, everyone said that was self-serving, but it's not. Because what I have found is that behavior is existing in other ordinances that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I was wondering, that kind of just maybe opened the floodgates.
That opened it.
Okay. All right. So
yes, it completely, totally opened it. It was really hard for me to make the decision. In fact, if you look, I signed up on the very last day, right? Yeah. And and it was just placed on my heart. I mean, God just placed on my heart. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about God and politics, right? But
on this podcast, I want.
So, but you know what? I don't care about that because God placed it on my heart, and I pushed back. I did. I pushed and I pushed and I pushed I signed up the last day. So that's how hard I pushed back. But I ended up listening, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that you find out when you listen to God is that He's going to show you some amazing things, right? And you're going to start to do His work, and that's what I'm doing, and that's what I want the public to know, right? And I am getting beat up. I'm getting so beat up, but it's okay, right? Because I am in the right. And one of the things I have said repetitively is I'm not going to lie about anything, right? Yeah. Now, if I ever do end up saying something that's not accurate, I will definitely clarify it. If anybody ever sees me saying something that's not accurate, please call me out on it. I will address it. I will apologize, and I'll set the record straight, right? But my campaign has been around integrity. I've said it over and over again, right? My campaign slogan says time for accountability as well. And I have said this multiple times. Everyone has to be held accountable. I need accountability. The people that are currently on county council need to be held accountable as well through our election process. So that is my slogan, and that's what I'm aiming to achieve here in this election. And today we're going to hold some people accountable. We're going to talk about the things today that are impacting the residents here in Lexington County.
Well, heck yeah. I'm fired up. I can feel the passion, man. You're ready to go after it.
Dude, you have no idea. You know, as a citizen, you just don't get it until you get involved. And then when you get involved and you start seeing the behaviors of other people, you start seeing, and I've said it, and I said it in a public fashion. Everybody's seen me say it, right? You start seeing the corruption. And that's a powerful word, right? A lot of people are like, oh, well, Brent, that's off the cuff, right? Saying those words has brought so many people into my life that have shed so much light on some things we're going to talk about today.
This is Wright Brennan, the owner of C. Wright Roofing. When it comes to the maintenance of your roof, you want to know that you have an experienced team that knows what they're doing. And with 10 years in the business, we check all the boxes. Leaky roof, storm damage, or just overdue on maintenance, give us a call at 803-828-4181 for a free estimate. Again, that's 803-828-4181. And remember, our commitment is to roof it the right way. All right, let's talk about one of those issues. So what would be another example of this type of behavior that you saw, opening through, obviously, the fireworks ordinances? What was the next thing that you noticed, like just kind of doing your, lightly digging in?
Yeah, so I would say that the most concerning thing happening right now in the county, and I don't think this is something that everybody knows, is development. How is our county going to grow as we grow forward? That is it. That is the issue, right?
Yeah.
And the other issue is traffic, but it's tied to development. So it's traffic and it's development, right? And those are the two things that I want to talk about today. In addition to that, I do want to talk about something else. We are infringing on First Amendment rights around freedom of speech.
Okay.
We're going to dive into that today because that is a major issue that I am just now finding out about, and the citizens in Lexington County need to know about it.
All right, so with development, and traffic, the two things go hand in hand. Right. I could see how, potentially when the politicians get involved, maybe we flow traffic towards my shop of business. Or is there, what type of poor behavior are you seeing in that realm?
Yeah, I don't think I'm seeing that. And I'm not saying that isn't occurring, right?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that. And the public has to understand as well that as a citizen running, I don't have access to a lot of things, right?
Right.
I'm not currently on county council. I'm an outsider. I'm running against them because I believe initially as a catalyst that there was that there were things happening that shouldn't be happening. That was the catalyst. And now I'm finding out and I'm getting more and more information and it slowly comes in, right? It's like, because I don't have it. So I have to wait till the people in the public let me know. And one of the things that happened was the public conference that was held, was called, that and then my behavior during that conference, right, which we need to talk about today, really opened up a lot of people to start reaching out to me, right? Because they're like, this guy is listening, right? And I need to tell my story, right? So there's been some stories that have been told. And then there was one that really was told yesterday that we really got to dive into at some point in this podcast. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. But in terms of development happening to benefit oneself, I don't, from a financial perspective, I don't know, right? I don't know. But what I will tell you is that we're making decisions around development, okay, that are negatively impacting, I would say, the majority of our citizens.
Okay.
Right? And that's what's important.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a huge concern to everybody, obviously.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is your message? You said you were at a recent hearing or
yeah, let's talk about that. I think it's a good place to start. So because that was another part in the campaign that's really kind of taken the campaign off, right?
Yeah.
So let's start there. I think it's a good place. So an attorney in town, Eric Bland, which I didn't even know who he was until now, right? But Eric Bland is an attorney that does business with Lexington County.
Okay.
And there are certain members of county council, the incumbents that are now up for election, plus Beth Carrick, which is not, but she still got involved, coordinated a public hearing or a public conference with Eric Bland. And Eric Bland started the public conference off, right? So I got notification late that night that the public conference was the following morning at 10:30.
Yeah.
Now, that's important because that public conference was called with less than 24 hours of notice to the public. In fact, it was called with such short notice that I was the only person running against an incumbent that even knew about it and could attend. Okay, so I get there. The very first thing that happens when I get there, and I'm hopeful that I'll have this information today. I think I'm going to have it. Beth Carrig approached me the second I got there, along with Eric Glenn, the attorney, and told me I was not welcome. This is not your conference, public conference. You can have your own conference or your own press conference, but this is not meant for you, and you need to leave. Okay? I paraphrase it because I can't remember all the words, but that was essentially it. That was the message. And I hope to get video today from the amphitheater because no one had that on video, but there's going to be some video that I'm going to hopefully get on, have available today, and I'll share that with the public that shows that interaction, me walking up and then being approached, right? So that the public has to understand because they haven't seen that video, right?
Yeah.
That the very second I get there, I'm being approached and told to leave. So then this conference, they speak for however amount of time that they speak. I don't interrupt them, right, at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm being told I broke into the public conference. I'm not here to break into something that's public. But not only that, I didn't even break into their conversation. They had their conversation. They discussed everything that they wanted to discuss. And then whenever they started asking for questions, that's when I spoke up, right? So during that public conference, they were telling the public that there's dirty money in campaigns, right? They also told the public there was money coming in from Washington. Now, I tell you, ain't nobody called me from Washington. And I've already made it very clear with the public that I have not taken any money from the BIA, which is a building group here in town, and not taking any money from any builders or developers, right? Because I want to make sure that if I am elected, if we're making decisions around development, there's not going to be anybody that can say that, well, Brent's been influenced. Brent's not been influenced. Brent's not taking a dime.
Yeah.
In fact, to a point that I have said, I will step out of the race if anyone can prove that I have taken a dime from a builder or developer. Not only step out of the race, if anybody proves I've taken that even 6 months from now, I'll step out of my seat.
Yeah.
And I'm posting bank statements.
So they kind of insinuated that
Absolutely.
that you may be taking some money, and you're here to set the record straight. That is not the case at all.
Absolutely not the
Right,
case.
okay.
Absolutely not the case.
All right. Well, yeah, that's important information to disclose to the public. What other issues are on?
Well, hold on, before we go, let me finish that. Then we're going to get into those issues, right? Because one of the things that happened at that public conference is that, and everyone saw this, it's on TV. I've gotten lots and lots of views on this. Is that I called them corrupt, right? I said that Lexington County, these members on Lexington County Council are corrupt. And we're going to dive into that today because I'm going to prove that they are. And we're going to talk about the issues. And we're going to talk about how there's corruption in these issues.
I want to get to the information. Let's start.
Let's do it.
Where are you seeing this corruption? Like,
I want to talk about the most important thing involving corruption.
Okay.
Right? And it's not actually, doesn't have anything to do with development. Even though development is the most important issue, in terms of corruption, I'm going to talk about the most important issue right now with you. And we're working now to get out a press conference about this.
Okay.
So in March of 2024, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that political campaigns that run a social media platform cannot block or censor any users at all. Okay? That means that on my Facebook page, I can, if you decide to come on my Facebook page and you say something that I don't
comments,
like,
you can't take them off.
I can't take them off. I can't hide them. I can't delete them. Okay? And I cannot block you.
Yeah.
Now, I know of right now 5 people that have been blocked by Beth Carrig and Darrell Hudson's political pages. Okay? I'm one of them. Now, that the Supreme Court in March of this year said that's a violation of First Amendment rights, which is our most precious amendment, and that is the right of freedom of speech. So right now we have our political candidates, our current leadership in county council, that's violating people's First Amendment rights and not allowing them to go on their pages and say what they want to say against the stuff that they're posting. And the stuff that they're posting is not even accurate. So we need people that can stand up and speak out and say, hey, that's not accurate.
So what kind of stuff are they posting? Where would you say the inaccuracy is?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest inaccuracy is they're saying that there's money coming in from Washington, and that's just
to support the other candidates who are.
Yeah, they're saying there's Washington money coming into Lexington County. And listen, I have no knowledge of any of that. None, right? I have seen nothing that would indicate that that's happening either, right? Now, we do know that the builders are very upset about the ordinances we're going to be talking about today, right? So they're obviously pushing to spread the word and share information that's valid, right? About what's happening in Lexington County. But that's not money coming into my campaign like they're saying on Facebook page. Like my opponent's saying I'm taking money, and Brent's taking money from the BIU. Brent's bought, and just absolutely not accurate.
Well, that's the nature of politics.
It is
a mudslinging.
Right. It is a lot of mudslinging. It's crazy.
Got to have guys like you out there who want to get out there and
just say the right thing. I'm just throwing it out there. If you don't like what I have to say, it's okay. I'm good with that, right?
Yeah.
It's not a problem. You just don't vote for me. But I'm not going to lie to you, right? And I'm not going to spread misinformation.
Well, I mean, you got to have a certain drive and will and, willingness to get out there and fight. All right, so you mentioned that there's certain ordinances that are coming up that, different
well, they're not coming up, actually.
They've already passed?
They've already passed. So I want to list them real quick. So give me 1 second here. Let me get this so I can list this correctly for you guys because I don't have them memorized. So Ordinance 2102, Ordinance 2314, 2315, 2317, 2318, 2309, and 2313, all dealing with development. Now, to the best of my knowledge, okay, I want to be clear, to the best of my knowledge, all of these ordinances were passed with a thing called pending ordinance doctrine.
Okay.
Okay? Now, what that is that says that we're going to go ahead and make this ordinance law without doing 3 public readings and having public input, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, the pending ordinance doctrine, right, was meant for like things that could harm the public.
Right.
Right. So there's a public health emergency, for example. We could create an ordinance and say, hey, listen, we're going to
just got to do this.
We've got to do this, right? Because the safety of the public is at risk, right? Well, clearly with development, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right. Those pending ordinance doctrines, right, can impact businesses significantly, and not just builders or developers, right? It can impact everybody that makes a living off of development, and then not only that, the people that make a living off the people that make a living off of development, right? The money flows all over the place, right? Yeah. You see how it works. So it was just, and in doing so, you're also saying we don't want input from all stakeholders, and that's a problem, right? Because if I'm elected at my table, everybody's welcome. Right? Even the people that don't agree with me are welcome. We're going to all sit down and we're all going to come up with ordinances that are good for the entire public here in Lexington.
Okay.
Right.
And so that's part of the transparency, the accountability piece that you want to bring to the table if you're elected. Okay.
Absolutely. The use of pending ordinances is absolutely ridiculous unless it's truly a public health emergency or something that's an emergency that would harm the citizens here in the county. Okay. And in this case, that is a very loose connection that the county council is making.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. What's your next priority?
Okay. Well, let's keep talking about the ordinances for a second. So we've got ordinance 2018, basically that says that. Hold on, make sure I'm telling you all right. I think it's 2018. It says that we're gonna limit houses to 4 homes per acre.
Okay.
Okay. Now my opponent has pushed this very hard. He's very proud of this ordinance. Okay. But there's some problems with the ordinance. Not everybody wants to maintain a yard, right? So let's think about that. If you had to have a 1/4 acre of property in order to build your home, that means
getting a yard.
You're getting a yard.
Is that
getting
for the whole county?
It's whole county. So you're getting a yard, right? Whether you want it or not. So if you're 70 years old and you're like, I don't want a yard, well, too bad. You're getting a yard, right? If you're 23, you got 2 kids, and husband and wife maybe both are out working, and they just don't want to take care of a 1/4 acre yard and the financial cost of that because they're already strapped. Too bad. You're taking care of a yard, right? Yeah. So that is I fired up to be here with. It's disadvantaging some of our young adults, some of our older adults. It does make housing less affordable. And I've mentioned that. Of course, I'm getting beat up over that. I'm being called woke and a liberal just because having housing for everybody, especially our young adults that are graduating and trying to start a family. Because I was there. I mean, you were probably there too, right, kids? Yeah. When you're 20 and you're trying to start, you have a family, you're trying to start a family, money's tight. You may not be able to go afford that $400,000, $500,000 house, right? Yeah. But there's a group here in Lexington County that they feel like that's what everybody should be at, right? And, and they feel like if it's not, it's impacting the heritage in Lexington. And I want to talk about heritage in Lexington because I grew up here. The heritage in Lexington is a heritage around the school systems, right? We we build our community around schools.
Get great schools here.
Right. So we do have great schools here, and that's why people move here.
Yeah.
Right? But how old are those people typically when they move here?
I guess they're in their 20s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So they're in their 20s, and you and I both know that people in their 20s can't afford larger homes, right? Or homes on quarter acres or et cetera. So when I'm talking about affordable housing, right?
Yeah.
People are telling me, "Oh, well, you're trying to achieve a liberal ideology." That's just absolutely not accurate. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say our community was built on family. We got to take care of our families. It's that simple.
Yeah, interesting. That is you're bringing stuff up I've never really considered. So,
right.
Being educated today. Now, for the sake of time, we got to get to your next priority. We only got a couple minutes left. I want to make sure that we hit the message you want to get out. So, what would be, you'd say your next priority?
My next priority is traffic.
Okay.
And I've been beat up on this. They're like, oh, well, that's not a county issue,
yeah.
Right? It is a county issue. Let me tell you why it's a county issue. It may require state funding, and it may require state involvement,
yeah.
But it is a county issue. And the reason it's a county issue is because our leadership on county council are the ones that had to advocate for the money at the state level to get our roads fixed, right?
Yeah.
Because they have to be the squeaky wheel, and our roads are not where they need to be, right? And our state roads are not where they need to be. And if our state roads are not where they need to be, it's because we haven't been loud enough, right? And if I'm elected, I'm going to be professional, but I'm also I'm going to be loud, meaning I'm going to hold them accountable, right?
Yeah.
We're going to get after it. We're going to hold people accountable at the state level, DOT, to get our roads fixed. Yeah. Traffic is a major concern. And I have solutions. It's out there on my website. We won't talk about them today. And we'll have more solutions, right?
Yeah.
We're going to keep generating solutions. The point is we got to get solutions for our traffic problems, and it is a county council issue. Don't let them tell you it's not.
Well, it's like you said, the squeaky wheel gets fixed. Somebody's got to be making the noise to fix these problems.
That's right.
I've really enjoyed hearing about your priorities, all the exciting stuff you got going on. The election's coming up soon. So what do the people need to do?
Yeah, so you can vote. You can vote before June 11th.
Okay.
Right. So you can go to voter registration office and vote. So do it. If you can't make it the 11th, then go before the 11th.
Go
right?
before.
In this primary, to vote's going to take just a few minutes of your time. Yeah. It's going to be quick, right? It's going to be in and out. So make sure you get in and out, right? And go do it. I mean, that's it. Everybody's got to go vote. And we have 18,000+ people in District 3 that do not vote. So we have around 3,800 or so that do.
Yeah.
We have all those that don't.
That's a lot of the darn voting.
That's a lot of people, right? So people have to listen to the issues, and they have to go vote and vote based upon issues. I'm at a bit of a disadvantage. My opponent has the last name Hudson, and everybody's heard the name, for years and years. They haven't heard my last name, even though I've lived here my entire life. But people have to vote on issues. I really encourage them to go out and vote on issues.
And where can they find your information if they're interested in digging in a little deeper?
Sure. VoteBrent.com is my website. So definitely go to VoteBrent.com. The other place is go visit my Facebook page, because that's where I'm sharing most of the information. That's where the updates are going. It's harder to update a web page, right? So I'm out there on Facebook, and we're posting stuff. We're going to be releasing some stuff today that's going to be really important. We're talking about some of that today.
Yeah.
We're going to so stay go to my Facebook page.
Fantastic. All right, final message for the viewers.
Sure.
What do you want to tell them?
It is time for accountability here in Lexington County. You see it on my signs. Let's go hold them accountable.
Fantastic. Hey, I love your passion, man. Thanks for coming on. This has been an exciting interview, and I'm
I
fired up
appreciate
to
your
hear
time.
more from you. So.
Hey, man. Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.
Hey everyone, many thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a follow and click the bell to stay up to date on future episodes, or click the link to watch another previous episode. Also, don't forget to like, share, and please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback.